Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, is a man who had a chance to celebrate his second ever win as a New York Jet quarterback just a few days ago. And got another game happening on Thursday night. The four-time NFL MVP, legendary quarterback for the New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. How you doing, pal?
Hey, good. Thanks for being flexible today.
No, thank you. Thursday Night Football, short week. We've talked about how in the past we've had to kind of dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge our way through schedules. How is this particular Tuesday, 2 days out, and also 2 days removed from second big win as your Jets quarterback? How do you feel? How is it?
Yeah, people forget the first one.
I did, actually, when I sent you a text, congrats on your first big fucking win. And then I saw the press conference. It was like, I kind of messed up. Congrats on both wins. This one, though, had to feel very, very good. How long did you celebrate, and how quickly did you have to move on to Thursday night, which is kind of a good thing this early or a bad thing this early in the season?
Well, 3 games in 11 days is a lot. But anytime you play on Thursday, you always know you got a little carrot at the end of the week, which is the Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. So it's like a mini bye. So we're just, grinding right now, trying to get to the Thursday, have a great performance, hopefully, and then get to have a nice little weekend off. But no, it was great. I mean, I think, it doesn't matter how you win in this league. A win is a win. They're a real good defense in Tennessee. And I think we're going to look back on this one, short week 2, on the road, home opener for them, and feel good about coming away with the victory.
Yeah, it felt like what you guys were doing with that two-headed monster behind you is an indicator of maybe what the offense could look like this year. Can you talk about the 20-year difference between you and Allen, which was obviously made note of when you threw it that, and then Breece Hall also being back fully to form? What is it like to have those two backs with you?
Well, they're both studs. It is crazy. I heard about this kid when he was at Wisconsin. He was 17 years old playing on the field, and now he sits in front of me in meetings. He's 20 freaking years old. He doesn't turn 21 until January. So give him a lot of credit. He's a smart kid. He's a tough kid. I mean, he's fast enough to get around guys. He's big enough to run over you. And he's good in the pass game. He had a couple catches as well. I mean, the screen, that's an easy one, but he had a catch out on the left as well. That was nice. He's a talented kid. Breece is, he's a do-it-all guy. He can play all 3 downs. He can split out and tell me to throw him a goal ball. He's a stud. So really love having those guys. Those guys are weapons for us. We just got to find a way to get our best 11 on the field. Sometimes just having both those guys out there.
I loved hearing the story of Breece Hall telling you, like, hey, if they got a backer on me, I'm just going to run a go, throw it to me, and you just saying, okay, you got it. And Orlovsky was on in the last hour, and he said the fact that Breece Hall, as young as he is as confident and comfortable to say that to you is a big deal for the behind the scenes of your team. We feel pretty tight over there, especially this young into a season.
Yeah, I mean, I give him a lot of credit. I think last year he was dealing with coming back from his knee injury, and he still obviously had a really good season for us. But he's looked like a different player this year, and he's got just different comfort with the offense. He's so smart. He's able to tell me things like that. Hey, I can run by this guy, throw me a go ball, and I don't have to question it because I know he knows what he's talking about. So I give him a lot of credit. He's a smart guy. He's a tough runner. He had some tough yards for us on Sunday, and he's going to be a big part of our offense the entire season.
Go ahead, AJ.
Hey, can you talk us through that 3rd and 1 completion in the fourth quarter you had to Garrett Wilson? Were you changing things at the line? Dano says you're changing things all along, and that the route was awesome, the unbelievable throw and catch with this whole play and then what it meant to your team?
Yeah, I mean, they had just scored to tie it up, so we needed to put something together there. That was kind of a backyard play, At the last second, I noticed 0. We were running down the clock. It was 0 coverage, so I just made a little protection adjustment to make sure that I was going to have a little bit of time. And it's just on Garrett to kind of figure out what X angle he was going. It seemed to me that his X angle was a little bit flat, so I just threw it up the field a little bit. That's an easy catch for him, but for the mortals, that's not an easy play at all.
Everything.
He turns his head and makes the catch super fluid and easy. That's what he does. I mean, he can do it all. But I love the call. We were able to make a slight adjustment there, and it's just on, Garrett, hey, you got to win. Get open, and I'll try and put it in your spot. But that was a big play. And then the next big play in the drive was 2nd and 16, throwing kind of a 50-50 ball out there to Mike Williams. they got us a first down there at the edge of the red zone and allowed us to score. Then our defense, held up in the end.
How'd it feel going through the entirety of the game, having to make those big plays again in the fourth quarter? Obviously you're a competitor. You talk about, and this is one of those plays, they were just talking about, you've talked about your need to compete and how much you love competition. And that's why you love the NFL and you love football and yada, yada, like that whole thing. Fourth quarter, gotta have it. Like that third one, felt good to be back in the moment. I saw some fist bumps back from the kid, but did it feel good to be back out there?
Yeah, it felt great. I mean, to play meaningful football, to feel healthy. I had a big, 2.5-yard scramble early in the game, so I felt like, I was moving pretty good. I got my average up to 0 from -1.
There we go.
Yards per carry, which is huge. But listen, I want the ball in my hands in the fourth quarter. That's why we grow up dreaming about playing football. It's not, just to be out there handing the ball off. It's to be able to make adjustments on the fly and be called upon to make timely throws to win the game. And I'm thankful for that. We had it is an easy check, but an easy check on the touchdown run. To Braylon. We blocked it up great. I thought ABT and Morgan did a great job on the right side, handling the run through, and I think Conk was over there with a nice block, Allen, nice block, and Braylon just ran through an arm tackle and scored. But those are the plays you want. You want the ball in your hand in crunch time, making the right decisions to win a football game. So there's nothing like competition. There's nothing like being out there in the moment, being out there in the fire, and having to play your best in the most important time.
Yeah, and I think the thing about you is you're not scared to hand the ball off, though. Like you will. Like you've always been that way. Big prima donna, asshole, ego, this whole thing. Would hand the ball off 40 times in a game if that means you win. Like in that particular game, you go for 176, we win the game. Let's move along. As opposed to needing to get 250, 300 every time. It's like you will check into the right play every single time, seemingly. Like that is Aaron Rodgers football.
Well, listen, I'd love to throw for 400 yards every game, but sometimes that's not the
that's not get crazy.
That's not the way we're playing. That's not the way we're playing. It's about efficiency. We just haven't had a lot of plays the first 2 weeks. I think I played 39 plays the first week, and this last week, we were in the 50 range. So we got to do a little bit better, starting the game out, start a little faster to get more opportunities to throw the ball down the field. Receivers want the ball. They want to get their yards, get their numbers. But at the end of the day, it's about taking care of the football, making the right decisions, being good in the checks, and then being opportunistic. There's times in the, like we saw in the game, big third down in the fourth quarter, you got to make the right play. That's winning football, taking care of the ball, being good on the checks, being efficient, and sometimes that's what the numbers are going to look like. But at the end of the day, there's a little check in the win column, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, let's win, baby. Jets need that, and I think Jets fans are all the way back. Michael Cole, who was dancing with a ledge, and then you called him a legend.
Oh, man.
And then he texts. Do you know he's texted everybody now? And I quote, legend. That is how he texted me immediately after the show. And I quote, legend. Thank you. And then he'll send me a text. Legend here. I was wondering if you saw. So that's what you've created with Michael Cole, but I think it's a good thing. He deserves it.
That's great, man. I love it.
God, that's all Jets fans. They feel it.
Yeah.
Hey, you got to go get it. All right, let's talk about Thursday night AFC East matchup. D-But's got a question for you.
Yes, sir. You played with some great corners in your time. Al Harris, C. Wood, Tramon Williams, and now you got Sauce and Reed over there now. But Chris Gonzalez, one of my favorite young corners in the league right now. How do you feel about him, and how do you feel about top corners following like your wide receiver one? Do you prefer that as a quarterback, or do you prefer like the old Belichick double one, send my best cover guy to number two, maybe you kill him with number three with Devontae Adams that one game? Like, how do you feel about that whole thing? How do you feel about Gonzo over there in New England?
Yeah, I think he's a great player. I got to he was in our rehab at the Achilles factory in the off season. Wasn't rehabbing Achilles, but he was out there. Got to know him just a little bit. I think he's a great kid. He's super talented. I mean, he is an elite player. When a guy's going to follow, we call it like star coverage. The respect level for me goes up because, especially when those guys not only follow him on the outside but follow him on the inside. Because it's different playing corner on the outside and playing corner on the inside, playing the nickel position. Because when you're in the nickel, you got a lot of two-way go. You got vertical, you got out-break, you got in-break, you got shallow cross, you got all the different route concepts. That's why I always said Wood is the best corner I've ever seen, because he could be an elite dominant player outside and then go inside and be an elite dominant player. And that's just, it's hard to do in the league. There's not that many guys that have been able to do it. But I give those guys who do the star coverage a lot of credit, a lot of respect. And Christian's one of those guys, who enjoys the challenge, enjoys competition, and will go side to side. It's also different playing right corner, playing left corner. So a lot of respect of those guys. Bill, his system, Coach Mayo, played against him. Now he's head coach in the league, and obviously got those boys going. They had a big win in week 1 against Cincy, and then had a chance, just got beaten overtime in week 2. But division opponent, obviously early in the season, short week, a lot of strain on the body, but really important game, especially when you look back at the standings late in the season.
Patriots fan Connor actually has a question about what you just mentioned there.
Yeah, Aaron, is it kind of surreal going up against a team where the head coach, Jerome Mayo, is someone you played against? I know in 2010.
Old ass.
Yeah, very old, of course. But I know in 2010 he had like 16 tackles against the Packers. I'm not sure if you or Flynn were playing. And then in 2014, I believe he was on the team as well. But is that something that's weird? And then also, if you just want to kind of go into how you and the Jets plan on attacking the Patriots defense, I'd love to hear that as well. I know no one's listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go into that part there, BC, but it means I've been around for a long time. I earned these grays right here, playing for a long time and being alive for a long time. Coach Mayo's not the only player I've who's coaching now that I played against. There's always, we had joint practices, and you're seeing coaches on staffs now that I played against. D'Angelo Hall, I played against him in college. Now he's been coaching league for a little bit. Kevin O'Connell used to be a workout buddy of mine. He's the head coach in Minnesota. And there's, down in Houston, D'Amico, played against him when he was playing. So there's probably 4 or 5 other ones that I haven't thought about, but there's a lot of assistant coaches who are making their way up who are guys that I played with or against. So it's beautiful. Al Harris, has been in the league for a while coaching. Al was my teammate for a long time, and played against him when he was in St. Louis, which doesn't even have a football team anymore. So that's the way the league goes. There's a lot of change, but thankfully one constant been that I'm still playing and still in the league.
The standard def clips from back in the day.
It's a grainy film, very grainy.
Yeah, but somehow it was like 4K with that bald guy with Creed. Mm-hmm. Somehow, right? Isn't that the highest quality clip?
Yeah, that clip
That's
was
Creed.
blessed by Creed and the gods above. They want everyone to see that forever.
Every time it pops up, I think to myself, that's a really clear picture. And then we watch like some football highlights from that time, and it's like we're watching block players.
Mm-hmm. All start.
That's Creed difference, baby. That's Creed. Yeah, boom. Look at this.
Yes.
He's coming.
When it's Creed, one of the greatest bands of all time, obviously you got to make sure Scott has a real clear solo shot.
Look at the good lighting too in the middle of that thing. Just phenomenal showman. Now this is the show.
Yep.
This is the guy.
Boom.
What's that guy doing now? We gotta
Same thing.
Swinging.
Yeah.
Still swinging. Still
That's
swinging.
Chris Angel.
That's Chris. Don't you say that, please.
son of a
That is
bitch.
not Chris Angel.
He's
That is
never been bald.
That is an artiste. All right, last question here from Ty for you, Aaron. We thank you for your time here.
Yeah, Aaron, couple
Hey,
years
Ty, how you doing, man? You feeling good about that big win?
All right, relax. Everybody needs to relax. We're not talking about it.
Absolutely masterful. Always knew Malik Willis had it in him. I'm sure you did too, just watching from afar. But yeah, what a win. Unbelievable. But Aaron, a couple years ago, you talked about how guys like Jordy and Devontae and James Jones, they knew what you were going to do with the ball before you did it, and vice versa, developing that rapport and chemistry over a long period of time. And obviously, you and Garrett kind of already seemed there, at that point. But how much, how long does it take to develop rapport with these other guys in terms of knowing where they want the ball or where, how you want them to break out on routes? And does that rapport develop quicker with game reps, or what is that process like right now, just with it being, your third game this week?
I think it takes time. It takes a decent amount of time. These guys have only been with me for 2 full games. Some of them, Mike, this is his first time with us. Alan been with us for a long time, so he knows. Him and I got a good rapport, but it takes time. It takes I call them anchor reps, where you can make an anchor point to lock in your memory. A lot of these happen in practice. In training camps, things have happened that we're gonna have to remember when we're out there and the bullets are flying in live game action. But it does take time, and I think we're still working through some of that. So I think we're just going to keep getting better on offense as that chemistry continues to flow. And I thought there were times where we did a better job in run game of some of our reaching our angles and the backs trusting the blocks. But there's still a lot of things to improve in both the pass game and the run game. A lot of it just takes reps, and it's those bank reps, those anchor points that we can go back to that happen in practice or happen in the game that we can kind of harken back to as the season goes on. But it takes time for everybody, I would say, except for Alan at this point because we play so much ball together.
Well, you guys still doing the me at the top? We still
ATT.
Yeah.
ATT, bro. Yeah, that's what it is. It's nothing else. Yes, that's what it is.
Okay, well, I'm sure there's certainly some thoughts on it from your friends, potentially. There is some thoughts on it all. I mean, that is a. Oh,
interesting.
Wait a minute, I didn't even think about that. At the top.
What the hell?
Whoa! All right, good luck on Thursday. We appreciate your time, brother. You're the man.
Thanks, guys. We'll do this a little bit longer. We'll have some more fun. We'll stir some shit up next week.
A lot of shit to stir,
Okay.
especially after today.
It's okay. Watch out for the pagers, ladies and gentlemen. Aaron Rodgers. All right, good chat with him. Anytime he sneaks in the old Thursday night game.
Yeah.
Because they're putting Wednesday and Thursday together today. Mm-hmm. And then Friday, Saturday's tomorrow. And then the game is on Thursday. So a lot of it, they don't practice. We're not getting reps out here. Walkthroughs, a lot of meeting stuff, recovery stuff, all that type of stuff. But those short weeks, interesting. You're normally going to get the most basic offenses and the most basic defenses, normally, because there's not a lot to kind of game plan for. But with this Jets team, and Hackett and Aaron kind of knowing the offense inside and out, what should they be expecting? Especially with this Braylon Allen compliment. He's like, this kid's a genius.
Yeah.
This kid's 20 years old. I was watching when he was 17 in Wisconsin doing his thing. It's like, I'm pumped to see this matchup. I think this is going to be a great Thursday night AFC East slugfest.
Yeah.
That we're going to be watching.
Probably not ideal, but also like being able to put to rest any questions about the Achilles with playing 11 games in 3 days to start the season. Like, yeah. I'm sure once they get through that, it's like, okay, like I'm good. Like I kind of like there's nothing wrong with this. I'm ready to go.
It's like Kirk got tackled last night and people were on his legs. It was early. He did a middle run thing and there was a tackle.
I saw that. Yep, third down.
I thought about that a lot. Like as I was watching, I was like, ooh, this could be a time where he's worried about what happens. Got up and it felt like as the game went on, more comfortable. Yep. Like those things, you need them. And I think Aaron said on the program, he said, me running for one, that'll be good. That'll be good for my mentals. Me getting hit a couple times, that'll be good for the mentals. Because obviously he's 40 years old, played a long time. A long, long time in the NFL. But after that injury, even the most confident human beings need to be reminded, still got it, also could still take it, and can still spin it. That's why I think that win the other day is so big for Aaron, personally.
Gigantic. Yeah, imagine if they lost that game, and then they're going into this short week 0-2, say, hey, we cannot start out 0-3 because we know Michael Cole and all kinds of people are going to be absolutely distraught if that would happen.
There's him taking a hit, didn't see it, spikes the ball.
Pissed.
Not happy
so
about
mad.
it.